Hi, everybody. This is Lyrata Barrett for the Institute for Global Transformation with the Global Meditation, 2 days for the solstice. When we come into Incarnation, we come in on what is known as an ashramic wave, meaning groups of souls enter Incarnation purposefully together to accomplish certain things. We come in as a group, not as individuals. Always, we move as a collective in a shared emotional, mental, and spiritual environment for a particular purpose, a particular mission, a particular focus. At this time, as we are witnessing the crumbling of that which we've known, shifting sands, instability, destruction, anger, so forth and so on. It feels to me very strongly that it is a wonderful time for us to examine why we're here at this period of time. And by all indications, it would seem that we are here, no question, for the shift between the Piscean age into the Aquarian age, one. But most strongly, the feeling for me is that given the lack of love, the strength of the feeling of separation within this world, that those of us who are consciously aware and purposefully focused on evolving and helping each other, humanity as a whole, that we are here as a group to share love. That is the feeling I have. We are here to know that we are love, and that is the one thing humanity more so than ever needs, the ability not only to share love, but know that they are love. And that ability of giving and sharing love, being about love, understanding the depths of the word love, means to me that that sense of lack that humanity exhibits through all modes of behavior, anger, me against others, polarization of any sort, feeling that they are victims, that we are victims, and are being perpetrated on by others. Discrimination, feeling that we are missing something, that we're not getting something that we deserve, that we're being unjustly treated. or that someone is taking something away from us, all of these things bespeak of the need for love and the lack of love. So, in this session, that is my focus, love. Through two different methods. In this session, I'd like us to complete part 2 of the session I started 2 months ago. And I paraphrase a lot from Lucille Cedercrans' work, Creative Thinking. And this is an aspect of lesson 9, if I remember correctly. It's my hope that some of you, maybe a good part of you, a good group of you, have been working on the work of that lesson that I started 2 months ago, that placed you in the heart center, behind the back, about 3 inches beyond the shoulder blades, the true heart center, where you visualize a miniature aspect of yourself and you identify as the Christ. Now, let's take a moment to talk about that word, the Christ, because it's very charged through Christianity, and those of us on the spiritual path seek to, I speak for myself because I've been there and turned a corner, seek to avoid that word, the Christ. But there is a huge esoteric depth in that word, the Christ, that I'd like to talk about in order for us to be able to breathe through it, understand it, and appreciate it from its true roots. The word Christ refers to that inner Christ that all of us have. Each and every one of us has that inner Christ. It refers to that higher potential that we all have access to. We're not talking, when we talk about the Christ, we're not talking about Jesus of Nazareth, who walked the planet over 2,000 years ago. We're speaking of our higher potential, our higher self. It's that aspect of ourself that we begin to feel or connect with when we begin to awaken a bit and reorient ourselves and decide we want to understand and know more, and we begin to question things. It's that aspect of ourselves, tell you the truth, known as the soul. It's the Christ consciousness within us, okay? It's that part of us that as we are slowly awakening to the way, or what I call the path, we're learning our way. And as a result of the fact that it's all brand new to us, we identify as, or we are called, the child of Christ, because we are in our infancy on the journey, on the path. We're just beginning. We're learning. We're trying to figure it all out. So we are not the adult son of Christ at that time. We are the child of Christ, the adult son or daughter, I should say, of the Christ. We are the child of Christ in its infancy. Here we're called a child of Christ. So we all have a Christ self. Jesus of Nazareth, or Yeshua as he was called, was for us a blueprint in physical form of the epitome of the potential of man, that epitome that we each can reach if we are so focused, so determined. If we seek each opportunity that's available to us and we don't squander it. And even if we do squander it, we learn from it and then we pick ourselves up, tighten up the ship a bit, and then we move on, okay? It's what we can accomplish when we're focused, when we're undistracted, when we're clear of our purpose here. Christ is not a name. It's many things. It's called many things. One of them, it's a consciousness. It's an office. It's a title, meaning it's a title. It's a title of mastery. Okay? It's that which has been achieved. Self-mastery. And as a result of that self-mastery, certain gradations are reached, certain levels are reached, and with each level comes enhanced expansive awareness. Okay? Expansion in awareness. This is what is called initiation. Okay? So, it's the ultimate divine dimension of man. That is what the Christ is. It's that ultimate divine dimension of man. It's that highest vibrational spiritual level. It's the spiritual potentiality within each and every one of us that Jesus discovered in himself and worked proactively and progressively at it and was able to achieve it, by all appearances, within one lifetime. Okay? He showed us from A to Z how this blueprint, laid it out for us to be able to achieve the same. And he did this, he discovered this in himself through his connection to what I call divinity, or the one life, or God. Okay? Through his clarity of purpose. And he mastered everything that came to him to master within his own being. And then he was able to expand even more and begin to master, in a way, his environment. So through self-discipline and service to others, to humanity, he did this work. It's not only self-discipline, it's always, always, always self and others. Initially, the terrain is about self-discipline. And when we get to a certain level, that expansion moves us outward. And soul, the aspect of soul consciousness or Christ consciousness, consciousness in and of itself, is totally and always about group. It's not about I, me. It's about we. The word Christ comes from the Greek word Christos, meaning anointed. or one that is anointed. So, Yeshua, or Jesus of Nazareth, reached at one mint. Okay? He was an anointed one. And that is anointed is one that has certain talents and gifts that they have achieved along the way through concerted effort, through service to humanity, through love, through honoring divinity in everything, and through working to educate others, and also the ability to love unconditionally. And did he not show us the width and breadth of that ability to love unconditionally at his demise, when he humbly said, "Father, they know not what they do," among other things. So let's not cower from that word, Christ, or the Christ, especially as it's used here. Let's understand that we are all walking Christs in the making. That's our job. That's our focus. And it doesn't take one lifetime, it takes many lifetimes. We're not cleaving when we use this word, the Christ. I hope I've already explained enough of this, that we're not cleaving to a Christian entity or form, okay? We're recognizing the achievement of and the pathway laid out for us by Yeshua, or Jesus of Nazareth. There are many today who are awakening. This is that time when many will awaken. This is that time when humanity as a whole will be moving through group levels of initiation. The attainment is possible in a lifetime, but we have to do the work. We have to be willing, dedicated, undistracted, feverishly diligent. We have to be able to use the fire of intent, will, and power, love, wisdom, and divine intelligence in order to be able to accomplish that. The choice is up to us. Isn't it fitting, though, that we're talking about this as we are in the season of Advent, the time of the return of the light and the birth of the inner Christ, the light of the inner Christ, and the solstice on the 21st. It's a very pertinent season this year as the old world is destabilizing, defragmenting, and the new age of Aquarius is building. Jesus, or Yeshua, was the messenger of love and wisdom. Well, let's say the love half. Buddha was the messenger and the avatar, as Jesus too was an avatar, was avatar of Buddha, is the avatar of wisdom. They work in tandem. And as we're in this period, this most special, bright, and important period, we're experiencing a lot of sadness in this world. Not only do people have less, in order to experience the material Christmas that we've become used to. But this pandemic is closing down our worlds again, our countries. And although the situation may look bleak, sound bleak, please know this: that harmony comes through conflict. Because the conflict is so strong, it's simply telling us that there is something so big and powerful seeking to be birthed behind it. It's important for us to not get knocked off kilter by the imbalances. It's important for us to learn how to hold balance, realize what balance can be. Balance is a dynamic energy, it's not a static energy, okay? Every day, we're seeking balance. We drive out on the highway, we're balancing from moment to moment. We take a walk in the woods, we're balancing from moment to moment. We navigate a conversation with a friend or someone we've never met before. We're balancing moment to moment. We know how to balance. As our world is in an expansive moment of growth and evolution, balance looks a little different than we've ever known before. Yet, we can get our sea legs. We can learn to balance even this, and we will learn to balance. All we do is breathe through it and hold that note of love. Hold that note of love. Hold that note of trust. Hold that note that we are not alone. That everybody is going through the same thing as we are, whether they have money or not. Okay? So we're all in this basket together, and we're all trying to balance. Yield not, or let not the loud voices and screams and throw us off kilter. Let's stay focused on the light. Let's stay connected to the one life. Let's honor that inner Christ within us and seek it out in others and radiate it, allow it to radiate everywhere we go. If we're able to do this, we're helping humanity. We're sending out a note of frequency, of trust, of faith, of skill. In the darkness and in the dark times, okay? And that light, that love, that frequency will emanate out from us, and other people will get it, catch it, and it will filter out and ignite the same light in others. That's our work. If and when you find yourself feeling triggered, emotionally distraught, exhausted, start each day rather, first by connecting. Do 3 inhalations. The first one for the physical, to connect and relax the physical body. The second, to connect and relax the emotional body, to connect to the emotional body. And as you exhale, relax the emotional body. The same with the physical. Connect to the physical body. Bring it up in your mind's eye. Feel it as you're in it. Feel it in its totality. And as you exhale it, allow it to relax. Okay? And the same with the mental body. In order to focus it, get it to become attentive. You don't want it to be sleepy or so relaxed that you can't go through a connection exercise or a connecting exercise. And as we did in October, as I taught you in October in that meditation, see yourself as a tiny golden miniature aspect of yourself. Okay? In the true heart center, which means behind you, about 3 to 6 inches behind you. 3 inches is fine. And when you move your shoulders back, the shoulder blades meet, that's the heart center, okay? It's not down as low as we think it is. It's up higher than we think it is. So see yourself as a tiny miniature, a golden miniature of yourself in the true heart center, outside the back of your body, between the shoulder blades, and say, and I went through this again in October, I'm going through it once more for your memory. Say, I am the inner Christ. I identify as the inner Christ, born in the cave of the heart to know and experience love. And radiate that love outward. Allow that love to radiate outward from you to family, to friends, to frenemies, and then to all of humanity, your environment and all of humanity. This love radiated outward from the true heart in alignment with the inner child of Christ will connect with all those working in our world to send love to everyone who feels victimized, angry, offended, robbed, judged, unpaid, disrespected, unloved, jealous. Then direct your love into your head afterward, after you've sent it out to that blanket world. And realize that when you're doing this, you're not working alone. Connect with all of those who are like yourself, who are working together in some form or fashion. It doesn't have to be in this way. All of them are like branches on a tree. They will all connect, okay? Because we are a one life. Then direct your love to the head, into your head, aspiring to merge with the kingdom of the one life, or what we know as the Logos, the planetary Logos, God. and return to your normal focus. This you are to do for 28 days, is what I told you before. Ideally, you want to start this on a new moon. And the new moon begins, oh wait, I should have done this before we started. The new moon will begin on the 2nd of January. Okay? So it's not too far away. Put it on your calendar, your digital calendars, to remind yourself that that is the beginning of the new moon cycle, the 28-day cycle. You want to always work with the moon. Okay? And in the evening, before you go to bed, I have another suggestion that I hope you will follow. And I hope that if it's working for you, first of all, that you journal every day what's going on. But I'll tell you why before we get to that. In the evening, before you go to bed, imagine that you must climb a very high mountain. What comes to my mind is Mount Fuji in Japan. You cannot see the top half of this mountain because the clouds are so low on it. Okay, it reaches up so high, it's into the clouds. And that beginning at the next new moon, January 2nd, and you will reach the top of the mountain in the next 28 days. And you carry nothing with you other than your love. And as you start the climb up this mountain, going just a little way each night so that you piece it into 28 days to reach the summit, the top of the mountain, you imagine that every step taken, no matter how arduous or how perilous or whatever you encounter on the way, you are weaving your love up and around and into and all about this mountain. Okay? Connecting it with anyone that you might pass, anyone you might see, any animal that comes by. It's your love that goes with you. Know that as you do this exercise each night, you are utilizing your will, your intention, your determination, and your desire, which is this lower octave of will. This fortitude, the strength that you're using to climb this mountain will affect you in deep ways. It will work with your emotional body as you work to shift. Remember, we were talking in October about that shift from the emotional polarization into mental polarization, which is what all of humanity is experiencing right now. You would not think it by what it is we are seeing outpictured. But what we know about humanity is that humanity hates change. It goes about change, kicking and screaming. And that's what we're seeing. Humanity is being called to step up, step into a whole new vibration, a whole new level of consciousness, soul consciousness, not emotional consciousness. And the pathway there is through mental polarization. We've been, as I have told you before, we've been in the emotional realm forever. And we're moving into now the adult Son of the Christ, the movement, the evolutionary movement into the adult Son of the Christ. Even though we're starting out, many of us may be starting out, many of us have been on this path a long time. We might start out we might think we're starting out in our infancy. Okay, that will be determined as we navigate the path, because this is not our first go round in incarnation for any of us. So this fortitude, this exercise will give us fortitude and strengthen us in many ways. It will work on our emotional body. And as we work to shift from an emotional polarization into a mental polarization, any obstacles that we meet along the way will translate into an ability to overcome these obstacles on emotional levels. So as we do this inner subjective work, and anytime we're doing meditation, that's called subjective work, different from the objective world in which we live, act, work. So we will be learning how to overcome with this fortitude, this focus, this discipline, inner self-discipline, working on aspect of quelling and strengthening our emotional being. This exercise will become an inner cleansing and a purification, as well as a shift from the emotional into mental polarization, aiding humanity as a result in this big collective shift that we're undergoing at this time. You will want to journal. For anyone who works subjectively, journaling is the way we anchor what it is we have experienced on the inner levels. And by writing about it, it is a way of integrating it more, and ideally at some point in time embodying what it is we're bringing back in our awareness. Meditation is a drip by drip method of aligning us with our soul, our Christ consciousness. Okay? You'll be making huge inroads on your journey to inner transformation and growth and deepening. Now, normally I would be taking you through a meditation at this time, but I'm feeling very strongly that I've given you a lot in this moment to think on and to do 2 meditation exercises. So what I would like to do is simply, for us as a group, not knowing exactly when this will be viewed by you, to take a moment just to sit in the stillness as we are between 2 periods. Yesterday, the full moon in Sagittarius, and the upcoming solstice on the 21st, winter solstice on the 21st of December. And there is a sense of stillness. a beautiful stillness that is all about us. Not simply from our earth, but from the energies still percolating from that full moon, where some extremely high frequencies, energies were coming in, universal energies are coming into the planet. This is a time when we honor, through this festivity, I wanted to share this with you, the cosmic birth of the Christ Spirit that has been quietly waiting ignites into new life within the planet at the solstice, quickening all nature into a cycle of new birth. Number two, we honor the historic births of all great world teachers who selected winter solstice as the time to enter the earth plane with the blessing of the higher world, as did the Master Jesus, the bearer of the Christ light. And third, we honor the metaphysical birth of the Christ within each disciple that occurs in this pregnant and powerful period of time that we're in. The birth of the mystical Christ, the first initiation, manifests within those who have met the challenges of the probationary period or the probationary path. They are already stimulated in the inner temple to aid the continued unfolding of the Christ within that moves toward further illumination. This birth is beheld everywhere. So this is what we are aligning with in winter solstice. It is the birth of the light. We honor the light in you. We honor that Christ consciousness in you, seeking to be born, radiated and shared with others. We honor the divine light that returns to humanity, that light of transformation, that redeemed substance. We honor that light which radiates love, will, and power, and divine creativity. May the light, the divine light, your inner light and the light of the Christ consciousness of our world grow ever stronger from this point onward. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And know that, as I said, we are not alone. We are never alone. Simply bring into your mind's eye all of those who are working together for the transformation of this planet. And give thanks for all of you. Blessings in this solstice. Take care.